And in between, I'll be zooming in to do some drawing so that you're able to see clearly. Can you see my drawing? Yep, thank you. Yes, very good. So this is a very simple data, and I just want to keep the thing simple. Let me run through how the data looks like. At first, it has some simple rule. It says the working hour is from 8:30 to 5:30. And okay, this one is 5. Okay, I need to adjust this one to make it 5 minutes, not 5 hours. Permissible early in or early out is only 5 minutes. How come it's become 5 hours? Okay, oh yeah. It's 5 minutes. You type colon 0:5, it'll become 5 minutes. You need to adjust this one. Just now there's a typo on the file, it becomes 5 hours. Permissible early in or late in or early out, it means the office works start at 8:30. If the person come in late at 8:35, still okay. If the person come in after 8:35, example 8:37 or 8:36, is not good. So I keep it simple. Same thing with the early out. The company works until 5:30. If the person want to go out a little bit earlier, it's okay at 5:25. It's okay. Otherwise, it's not okay. So this is a general context. And it has a public holiday of year 2021. This is KL public holiday. Because later we want to do some analysis, whether this person is working on the holiday or not holiday and so on. So we want to know a little bit here, a little bit analysis. And this is the third one will be the time logged. Who is the staff, the date, and the time in and time out. Some people may be asking, hey, Tai, how about those they go out for lunch? Yeah, I keep it simple. And some people, they don't go out for lunch. Some people, they double clock in. Some people, they double clock out. And some people, they clock in, they don't clock out. Some people, they clock out, they don't clock in. Some people, they work overnight. So that kind of complexity, I remove. I keep it very simple. Can I keep it very simple? Otherwise, we will talk for this one maybe for another 4 days. So I just want to keep it simple, and you can see the data is very clean. I have the date, I have the time in and time out. In your data, it may not be necessary in this format. It could be the date and the time together. So I just want to make it super simple, and all the staff name is unique. They do not have any typo. So this so far okay for the explanation about data. So far okay. If you're okay, you can type okay in the chat so that I'm aware. If you're okay, you can type okay in the chat so that I'm aware. Thank you, Ismail. Thank you, Celine. Thank you, Kidit. Thank you, SY. Thank you, Lishan. Thank you, Phoebe. Hey, so whenever we see something like this, a lot of time people, their first impression, just jump straight away and start doing some analysis. Actually, it's not necessarily true. I want to have some questions because we do not want to blindly do reports for the sake of doing reports. Some people say, I have no idea, leh. My boss asks what to do, I do lor. If boss say wrong, I redo again lor. If say wrong again, I redo again lor. I enjoy redoing a lot of things. Last time I am something like that. I have that kind of mentality because I don't waste my own time. When I redo, it's very easy, it's the wasting company time. It doesn't matter, I still get paid. Now I want to do something a bit different. So therefore, I want to ask the question, switch our head, think like our boss. Now you are boss, maybe you are HR director or HR manager. You are managing a team. This could be a production, could be manufacturing, and could be some other industry of your choice. So now you want to do some analysis. What kind of things you want to know? What kind of things you want to find out? You are HR manager now or HR director. So you need to report to all the big bosses. Yeah, there's no lunch in and no lunch out. Yes. So I keep it simple. No time for lunch. Yes, this no time for lunch. I just keep it simple. Because while I'm preparing this example, I think if let's say I want to use a lunch, there's a lot more complexity. Because some people, they don't go out for lunch. It's also possible. So how do you want to count that? So I just keep it simple. So with this context, you're able to add on more example, the lunch in. Some people, they go work overnight. It is possible as well. Okay, how many people come in and come out late? Okay, so I type the question here. How many people out of the total come in? Okay, that means those coming late, those late comer. How many late comer? Okay, late comer. Okay, can. What else? How many left earlier? Okay. How many people go out lunch? This one don't have lunch hour. If let's say you have the lunch hour, you can use a similar technique to calculate. So I just, how many early leavers? Okay. Okay. If let's say you want to have something much more complex, let me know. Maybe then in 2 weeks' time, I will do something much more complex, depending on your needs. So we are co-create the learning together. Because I have some ideas in my mind. So I want to do something a bit more interaction. You decide what you want to learn. Accumulated late hours. Wow, this one I like. In the month or in the week or in a year. Accumulated late hours. Later we have something like this. Accumulated late hours. Okay. I think this is good enough. This is good enough. So we have 3. First, I want to know, okay, how many people didn't turn up to work? Okay, this one I don't have the leave because initially I want to include the leave. For example, they have an absent without reason and annual leave, medical leave. So maybe we have another session just for leave analysis. Is that good for you? Because the data will be different. Because for the leave, and some people, they have a special one, they can plan a leave in advance. So they can have a consecutive long weekend. Okay, so yeah, Jessica, no leave for now for the calculation. Maybe in the future session, we're talking about leave data analysis. How many latecomers, how many early leavers, and how many the accumulated late hours? Okay, good. Turn out, how many people didn't turn out? Yeah, okay, good. So now we have these 3 questions. I want to see whether or not we have sufficient data. So now we are thinking at our boss. So we have come out the question. After we have the question, we want to switch back our thinking back to the one looking at the data. I want to know the latecomer law, the early leavers law, the accumulate late. So I go back to time log here. So I have the time in, I have the time out, I have the day. Okay, this is good. And I have the rules. When is the working hour start? When is the working hour end? And the permissible early in or early out. So at least I have some ideas here. So I can come out the reason between the range where they are able to come in late. So with this whole thing, I go back to my time log. Are we able to deduct these minutes? What do you mean? I'm not quite sure. Yan, you may want to unmute to explain this one a little bit. If you're okay, unmute will be faster. Unless you can type 120 words per minute.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. If let's say if some companies allow 5 minutes for those who turning up to work in the morning. So how do we deduct those? Let's say, for example, they are 8:30, but the company allow another 5 minutes, means 8:35.
Yeah, okay. We will do this later.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. So make sure all your files, you need to change to 5 minutes because the data has some typo. It becomes 5 hours. Or that person can come in late after 5 hours. Obviously, everyone do this. Don't need to work. Okay, right? So we have this data here. And I want to go back to time log. And now I want to do some calculation here. Before we do this, I would like to invite you to create this one into an Excel table. So a lot of time people will just add formulas. Before you add the formulas, do this extra step. Go to insert. Go to insert. You will see there's something called table. Insert table. All the keyboard shortcut for this will be Control T. Control T. Control T allows you to create this one into an Excel table. Just a gentle reminder, we are doing this for the time lock. We are doing this on this time lock, not other things. We are doing it on the time lock. Click on the table, and you can see it is automatically selected with these options. And by default, it will say my tables has headers. It means the very first row is the header. So that's called headers. Then you can press OK. You can press OK. After that, you can see, wow, the thing changed. Some people use table just because of the color. And because not only color, this has more than that. It's more than that. After I have got this thing done, immediately give it a meaningful name. Give it a meaningful name. Go towards the top left section. You can see currently I say table 1. I say table 1. Click on the table 1 and give it a name. We want to start the table name with the wording of table. So this is about time lock. So I will type table time locked like this. Table time locked. No space in between. You could use uppercase, lowercase to make it easier to read. Let me do this. Table time locked. Enter. So it will become something like this. If you are able to follow up to this step, can you type number 1 in the chat? If you are not able, type 0. I just want to know where you are and how many of you are able to follow. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Hebe. Thank you, Yan. Okay, I would like to Baxter rather one of you. This is how we learn. When you are not able to follow, you will be the fortunate one. Okay, I will stop sharing. I would like to invite Hebe. Please share your screen so that I'm able to guide you through. This is the beauty of using online learning, online live learning. If something not so right, you can just ask you to share your screen. Yeah, Hebe, you have got it done. And what you have not able to see on the top, the ribbon there is hidden. You can press Ctrl F1. Ctrl F1. Or the ribbon, so-called the menu will appear. Hold down the Ctrl together with F1. You need to click on Excel first. Click on Excel. Now press Ctrl F1 again. Very good. So do you see the table on the top left corner? Currently says table 1. And just remove the number 1 and type time lock. I want to make sure with the wording table time lock. Yes, that's right. Uppercase, lowercase, and enter. Awesome. And since we are on this topic, maybe I can share a little bit shortcut key with all of you. Is that okay? With Hebe's screen, is that okay? Yes, thank you. So sometimes when we are working with multiple worksheets, a lot of time people will tend to use their mouse to click left, right, all these things. The keyboard shortcut for you to move to the previous worksheet or the next worksheet is Control Page Up or Control Page Down. You hold down the Control Page Up, it will go towards the left side. Control Page Down, it will go towards right side. Control Page Up, Control Page Down. It makes the things much more easier to change. And yes, so this is super easy. Maybe you may want to Control Page Up twice. You go to the previous worksheet. So while I'm inside this worksheet, I'm looking for that kind of data. I'm unable to remember what's data is in this file. A lot of time people will tend to use the worksheet and search one by one. since we have created an Excel table, we could do something differently. Now I want to invite Phoebe, just go to the name box. Currently, you see on the top left section, just below the paste, there's something called B3. You will see something called B3. Yes, click on the drop down on the B3. Yeah, this is called name box. And you will see your table name is there. Now, Phoebe, click on that table name. And you can see it brings you back to the actual data. So if let's say multiple data with the same consistent name, start the wording with the table. So when you drop down, it will be one after another. It makes your life very, very easy. When you want to go somewhere else, go on, just click drop down. It will bring you everywhere based on data you are looking for with the blink of eye. Blink, that's all. Okay, I hope this one helped. And okay, Ziyan, you may want to share your screen. I'm able to find the design tab. And by the way, this kind of session, when other people ask something like this, you can learn, oh, how other people work. So next time with this kind of knowledge or awareness, you could avoid those kind of things yourself, or you can also ask your team, or you are able to guide your team much more easier. So in your things, okay, Ziyan is inside table design. You are using Excel 2016 or 19. I think it's 19. You click inside the table. You will see something called table design on the top section, just beside the light bulb. On the menu, people call it ribbon. Yes, that on the left side, you will see something called table 1. Then give you a meaningful name. Time lock. Enter. You already have the same name. Very good. I know what is happening. Press OK. You go to formula. You go to formula. In the menu called formula, use name manager. In the middle, you will see something called name manager. Go towards the middle. There's in the menu. In the center, something called name manager. Yes, you just pass through that. And you will see there's something called table. Okay, because just now you type the name inside the name box. Later we will use that. And this one, because you type it differently, it is confused. Now you have selected the table time lock. Delete that one. Click on the top. There's a button called delete. Then we'll ask for confirmation. Press OK. And close this one. And repeat the step just now on renaming the table. Very good. Yes, now you may want to go to a different worksheet and attempt to use the name box to switch. Maybe you go to rules. Let's go to rules. Go to name box. Currently it says B3. Click on the B3. Yep, drop down. That's the name box. Click on the drop down. You will see table time lock. Click on that. Yes, awesome. Very good, very good. Does it work for you? Yes, thank you. Thank you, Yan, for, okay, maybe am I calling your name correctly? No. Oh, yeah, Lisa. Okay. Thank you, Yan Wan. Sorry, wrong name. Okay, let's go to the screen here. Now I've got it here, and we want to do something a bit differently. So we have gotten this, and now I want to know the permissible time in and permissible time out. Permissible time in and time out, it has the earlier one and the later one. So we want to compare. No, come in too early is still okay. Come in a bit late is not okay. So I want to do some calculation. Before we do that, I want to introduce you on the time calculation in Excel. And yeah, let's go to the rules. Let's go to the rules here. Yeah, move this a bit down. Oh, since we're on this topic, since we're on this file, let me share a bit shortcut key. Can I? Okay. So now I presume I have I want to select the row. A lot of people say, Tai, must use mouse one. You have no brain, man. Use mouse lah, click lah, faster. I'm a bit sarcastic on myself. No brain, man. Use mouse lah, faster. I say select faster. Why you want to use keyboard? If one fine day you go out, the keyboard tak boleh pakai, cannot work, then how? Cry lah. Some people say, no, it's okay. My computer, the laptop still has the keyboard one, still has something, a mouse, a touchpad. What if the thing also doesn't work? Wow, okay. So now let me show you how you're able to do the selection here. And a lot of time I want to select the column, the keyboard shortcut, select the column and row is rather similar. So you just need to know the keyboard shortcut. It involves the common key. The key is the longest one on your keyboard. Space bar. To select the column, you use Control space. To select column is use Control space. And to select the row, you will use Shift space. Later, I will share with you how I remember this. Sometimes I also confuse one. On the keyboard, Control is a bit narrower, Shift is a bit broader. So therefore, I recognize Shift as a broader, like a row, they are horizontal. Meanwhile, column is a bit narrow, it will be something like a shorter one. So let me show you. Now I use Shift space, it will select the entire row. Let me move it away. If I want to select multiple row, I will use Shift space. I will hold down my Shift key. I will either go up or go down. So I'll go down something like this. So I can select multiple row. So now I want to select column. By the way, certain of you, if let's say on your computer, you have installed another language input, if you use Control space, it may not able to work because it's the same shortcut key with the Windows where it will be changing the language input. If you have more than one language input, for example, Mandarin. So if you have not changed the setting, when you press Control space, it will somehow become changing your input. Because I have changed mine, I can press Control space, it will be selecting the column. I want to have more column, I can just go left or go right. So now maybe now I want to push this thing down, I can select multiple of them. Shift space, I can select multiple. Now I want to insert. A lot of time, insert people will say, just use the mouse or right click, there's an option says insert. So actually for insert row or column, after we have selecting, we can use this keyboard shortcut, Control plus. Because a lot of time our keyboard, especially on the normal keyboard, the plus is together at the bottom of the plus. On the keyboard, it has the equal sign. The key, it looks something like this. In order for us to get the plus, we want to use Control Shift to get the plus. So to insert is Control plus or Control Shift plus. You are able to insert. After you select multiple, you press Control plus, it will be inserting multiple row or multiple columns. Then the opposite of the plus will be minus. Minus will be equivalent to delete. Delete will be Control minus. Control minus is to delete. Control Shift plus is to insert. Let me show you how. Control plus. Ta-da! Okay, now I want to move it in between here. I want to insert 3 blank rows, so I will select 3. Shift space, it will select the entire row. Control plus, it will insert 3 blank rows. What if I want to delete one of them, just like one? Control minus, it is gone. If I want to select 2 more, Control minus, it will be gone as well. So these are the few things you could do it and practice. And if you are able to know this well, it's very, very useful to you. Learn something new. Hopefully it's not overwhelming, it's still okay. If you learn something new, can you type O in the chat? If you learn something new, can you type O in the chat? Yeah, that's okay if you want to switch to mobile. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Yanwan. Yes, thank you, Ismail. Thank you, Zian. Now we come back to here. I want to know the permissible, the late in and the early out. So for Excel, the time, they are using like decimal. Actually, the time is decimal. Let's do this. Select the numbers here, select the time here, 8:30 to 5:30 and 5 minutes. Just select them and change the formatting. This one, change the formatting to general, All the keyboard shortcut to switch the formatting to general is Control-Shift-1. Control-Shift-1 allows you to change it to general format. Let me show you. Control-Shift-1, the alphabet 1, it becomes decimal. So that means fundamentally, Excel stores the time as decimal. Let me undo by pressing Ctrl-Z. Let me undo. And yep, so that will be something like this. So now I want to know the permissible late in and okay. Permissible late in and permissible early out. I want to do some calculation just to make sure it works the way we want. You add 2 more rows just to have something like this on the screen. By the way, if let's say you want me to repeat on the certain section, let me know. You can use your voice or you are able to use the chat. If you are able to follow up to this step now, just now all these things, can you type number 2 in the chat? I just want to know you are okay, you are able to follow. Thank you, Jessica. Let me know if you want me to repeat certain section and type 0 so that I'm able to repeat certain section. This one, the shortcut is something extra, is bonus. If you're able to get it, good. If you're not able to get it, it's still okay. Now we have something like this. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, now I have this. I want to calculate the permissible late in. So is the minute. If let's say we want to calculate something towards the future for the date and the time calculation, whenever we want to calculate towards the future, we will use plus. When to calculate the date or the time towards the past, we will be using minus. So let me type it here. Future will be using plus. The past, I want to calculate the past, we will be using minus. So this is a mathematic. Just like the future, I want to calculate how many days from today, maybe 3 days from today. You just use a today plus 3. If let's say I want to calculate how many days towards the past, I want to use today minus 3. Let's do something like this. Based on the date, based on the time, 8:30, 5 minutes after 8:30, is it the future or the past? 5 minutes after 8:30. Yes, that is future. So therefore, I want to use plus here. Be equal the date plus the early time in or timeout. The enter, you can see it become 8:35. Later, we will use this one for comparison. Then how about this one? 8:30, I want to calculate the 5 minutes before 8:30. We use plus or minus. Yes, thank you. It will be minus. So let me use this one, equal the time minus early in and out, enter. So the earliest they could go out is 5:25. So let's verify. So all these things are okay. Good. Cannot. So you are able to follow up to this step. Let me show the formulas here on the screen. Let me show the formulas on the screen. Yeah, something else. If I'm able to follow up to here, you can type number 3 in the chat. Otherwise, you can type number 0 in the chat so that I'm aware. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Zian. Thank you, Chan Kit. Okay. Maybe okay. Thank you. That's a nice thing I can see when you turn on the camera, I can support you even better. So that I can see if let's say you are scratching your head, start doing something, okay, that means there's some things I need to adjust. Thank you, Jessica, to turn on your video. Nice one. Okay, now I have these two dates ready. And later I want to refer the formula a bit easier on here. Later I will show you how to simplify the formula reference. So now I want to have a permissible late in and permissible early out. I want to use these two times for the comparison later. Because we are across multiple worksheets, that kind of stuff, it's not easy for us to go forward and backward. And if let's say I want to go forward, backward, I will be using something like this. Okay, equal, then go back here and click and enter. It will be a bit troublesome. If let's say I want to use the formula again, I will just equal and this and this. Wow, too many things. It's too many things. So I want to share this method with you so that you're able to make the formula a bit easier for you to read. First step, select the name on the side. Select the name on the side together with the values here. That means together with the time. Select this together with the time. So after that, you go to formula. Inside the formula, there's one option. It says create from selection. Create from selection. Make sure you select first before you go here. Formula. Create from selection, and it will automatically define it's based on the left column. That means we are going to give it a name for the 8:35 as well as 5:25 with a name rather than using or something B4 and B5. I want to give it a name. The name is coming from the left column here. Yeah, that is the meaning. We want to assign the name based on the left column rather than having us to type it. So now just observe. So if you are here, you can just press OK. You can just press OK and you will see nothing happened. Okay, press OK, nothing happened. Okay, why you do something with nothing happen? Coba, relax first. Click on B4 now. Click on B4. Then you go to the name box on the top. You will see it shows permissible late in. It is no longer calling B4. It becomes permissible late in. Later, you want to do some formula calculation, you can use this name. How the names come in? Just now we use the method, it will automatically create the name for us on these two cells. If let's say I go down to B5, it will be showing permissible early out. Permissible early out. So now I want to do a simple reference. Maybe I'll go to somewhere blank area. You just type equal, and type PER, permissible, PERM, and you can see it has a list for you. And these are the thing we call name range. Named range, rather than calling A1, A2, C1, C2, it uses a name. It makes our formula easier to maintain. It makes our formula easier to read. So this is called named range. Later, we will use these two a lot in the comparison. Do you see this? If you're able to see something like this, can you type number 4 in the chat? If you are not, can you type 0 so that I'm able to support you in your learning? Thank you, Yan Wan. Thank you, Ki. Thank you, Zian. So when this is selected, a lot of time people, they are very excited. They will use Enter key or they will use the mouse to double click. So another way to work around, you miss it lah. Okay. Congratulations, Jessica, for missing it. So I will invite you to share your screen. Yeah. Okay. So the reason I invite you to share your screen and you'll be start sweating. Oh, kanchong, all these things still okay one. I will not eat you.
I actually got problem. I missed that part because I'm only here. I'm only here. So I want to do this one. It doesn't happen. So
you select A4 up to B5.
Tak boleh oh.
No,
I didn't select
it. You missed the previous step. You press escape.
That means
you select A4 up to B5. Permissible late in.
Okay.
Not everything, not everything. Just a permissible late in and early out. Yes. Okay. Then go and create from selection in the center of the top section, the menu. Formula, very good. Then you will see something called create from selection. Just now we can see there's a name management.
I missed this part. Okay.
Yes. Then you can see it will automatically check. It says left column.
Yes.
And press OK. Okay, now you go out and type equal PER.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
And a lot of time they are so excited they will see this one. They either press enter key or they will use the mouse to double click. So let me invite you to, rather than using the mouse to double click or type the whole thing or press enter, you will give you an error. Use the tab key. Tab key is on the left side above the caps lock.
All right.
Press tab key, it will auto complete the whole thing. And press enter. You can see now it's referring to that. So sometimes the formatting doesn't change. You just change the formatting lah. So it's perfectly okay whenever, even though the formatting runs, the value is still okay.
Okay.
Good. Learn something?
Thank you. Yes. Good.
Thank you. I believe you will remember this section a lot.
Yes.
That's the beauty of inviting or persuading someone. Yes. Maybe you have something?
And what just now when Jessica, after that, the 0.7, that one is what's that?
Oh, that one is I'm not shown. You just like equal PERM, it will show the list. You press tab key, you auto select. And let me show you here, that'll be easier. Now I have the name here and I want to refer to the cells. So I will just type equal PERM, I know it's something called permissible. So you can see this thing is selected. When this is selected, a lot of time people will tend to use enter key. They like to use enter key. We do not use enter key, we use tab key. Enter key will give you errors because it's not complete key in the whole thing. It's only PRM. So this one, provided we remember the name. How many of you think your memory is super good? You can raise your hand. I also cannot raise, put down the hand. I cannot raise. So they say something, don't know what thing. Okay, if you have forgotten, it's perfectly okay. You have no idea what is the name. And you can just same thing, equal, while you type the formula halfway, rather than guessing, you can press the keyboard shortcut F3. Pressing the keyboard shortcut F3, it will give you a name list. What does that mean? All the names available in this Excel file, it will be shown on the screen for you to select. Let me show. I press F3. You will see all the names available in this current moment as something called permissible early in, permissible layout. So it's very easy. So this one could be achieved by pressing F3 while we are typing the formula halfway. Very, very nice way of using with the formula. Cannot lie?
No, Ty, you just say I type equal F3.
Yes. Just
then,
press the function keyboard.
It make it come out the light bulb.
Okay. Okay, very good question. Thank you, Hebe, for asking that. Some people they just type F3. This computer will behave really volume brightness suddenly mute, unmute, all these things, weird stuff, right? So that is the time. Rather than pressing F3, you want to add one more key, which is called function. Function F3. That is particularly true for the laptop. If laptop you press F3, it becomes all weird stuff coming out. Not because of you kena jumpy all these things, just because you press something else. Just function F3, then counting. Chan, can just by pressing function F3 should be able to work. Good. Yes, can. F3 because I also kena Now I just maybe I want to for lay in, just double click or enter. You can see the selection. Even though the name is here, it is highlighted on the other cell. So it's very easy. We can use the name any places in this file. Any places in this file. Very, very good. So then I press enter. So this is because of a time. You can just change it to the time format. Then you can see it's the same thing, 8:35. It's the same thing. So now we have done these two and we have tested a little bit. We know a little bit about the name range. The next thing we want to check, based on the time log, I want to know who are the late, who are the early. Let's focus on who are the late in. So the late in, we will be using permissible in. We will be using the name here. Now let's go back to our time log. Let's go back to our time log. Here, I want to come out a very simple comparison first, whether this particular person on this particular date, is it considered late or not late in? I just want to know. So I will give you a name, a very simple name. Let me zoom in a little bit so it can easier to see. I will say this is late in question mark. I just key in the name in the E1. I just type late in question mark. just type let in question mark. When you press enter, you can notice the blue color will extend for you. So that means the table is now include column E as a brand new column. If you're able to follow up to this step, can you type number 5? If you're able to follow up to this step, can you type number 5? Very good. If you need some help, let me know. You can type 0 in the chat if you need some help, or you can just unmute and say it out loud. Hi, Weeby, how can I help you?
Where to put? But now, actually, you see the stuff is at row 1, staff, date, time
Yes.
in, time, yeah. But how come my one is no?
Something like this. Very good. Thank you, Hebe, for sharing the question. And I know it, you purposely do it for all of us here. That's because on the table itself, it starts on the row, not from the first row, and it will all the A, B, C, D, it becomes the header name. You just need to scroll up a little bit, scroll up a little bit. Now I'm here, right? If I scroll up, I can see the row number 1. If I scroll down, it will somehow disappear. All the A, B, C, D will become the names. Let me scroll down. You can see A, B, C, D, E. I can see all the A, B, C, D, E here. The one I highlighted. If I scroll down, all the A, B, C, D will become the table header name. Something like this. Can? Yes, thank you, Hebe. So this is also because of thank you for Hebe the question, and I'm able to share with something a bit different why we want to use Excel table. Another reason, a lot of time people, they want to know the header name, they will go and freeze the first row, first column, all these things. Whenever you're using Excel table, it's no longer necessary. You just need to scroll down, you can see the names always on the top. And not only that, you are able to filter without need to go to the first row. So it makes your life much more easier. Cool. So now we have this thing. And now we want to compare the time, whether this is after 8:35. After, okay, after date is after. When it's after, it means it's the future. Future means we will be using plus, means future will be greater number. The number will be higher. So we want to do some checking here. Checking equal. Let me show you the formula. Later I will explain. Whether this date is after our permissible let-in. Permissible let-in. The formula will be something like this. When you click equal and click on the C1, it will look something like this. So this is perfectly normal, and this is called structured referencing. Structured referencing. So it is referring to C1. And this is greater than means after. Greater than means after. After. Is it this particular date is after the permissible let-in, and it will return true or false. It will return true or false. Let me do this and press enter. Let's using our iSpot to do some simple investigation. 8:39. Yes, it's after 8:35. Let's go down. This is within. Oh, this guy coming very early. Oh. Okay, let's go down. Oh, this is after 8:35. So this formula, it works. Whenever it's true, it means this person is late in. I want to zoom in. I want to filter down. How I filter? I just go to the top. There's something called filter. Then I check this one. Means I only want to see the true. I don't want to see the false. Then you can press OK at the bottom. After that, you can see these are the people, they are late on this date and can know when they are late. So we are somehow satisfying the very first question. How many latecomer? Let me show the formula. So far, okay? Can I? Cannot. Okay, which part you want me to repeat?
Maybe I can. You have the true and the false, but I got another one thing come out is name.
Name. That is very good question. Now, thank you, Hebe, for your question. It's a very good question. I want to invite you to share your screen. Name, yes, Apani. Okay. Okay, can you go to C number 7? C7, click. Most likely is something you have adjusted on the, click on C7 again. That's because you type equal something. You press undo, Control Z. You may have accidentally do something there. Undo again. Okay, never mind. I think C7 is because of the typo. You just need to redo Control Y. Control Y. Control Y again. Control Y. One more. Okay, very good. So you go back to C7, the time in for alpha. It will be 8:33 a.m. You just type lah, 8:33, 8:33. Then press enter. Very good, Phoebe. And thank you for this one. That's because Phoebe purposely do all these things for all of us here. When we do something like this, how many of you think this particular one, the one highlighted 8:08:33 a.m., this one is a time? How many of you say this is time? Or it's not a time? Yes or no? Is it a time? Yes or no? No right, no wrong. Just make a wild guess. Type in the chat. Yes or no? Is it a time? Yes or no? Jessica say no. Really? Yeah. I understand, ma. 8:33 a.m. ma. Not time, eh? You cannot understand, meh? Your school teacher don't teach you, meh? No lah. Okay, a bit too much. Yeah, it's a text. How you know it's a text? Just curious. You may want to unmute and share with all of us here. How you know it's a text?
I saw that it has shifted to the left, and the AM is stuck on the number. It must not be like that.
Very good. Then, if let's say I change the alignment, shift it to right side, will it change?
No, it's still a text.
Very good. I tend to trick you. Oh, thank you, Jessica, for your participation. Because of the entry, it has no space between the time and the AM and PM. It will become alphabet text. And the formula will not able to work correctly. So just be careful about the data, particularly about the date and the time. Another very common mistake on the data you export, it may be using 24 hours format. And it has AM and PM. Maybe you can go to a blank place, key in maybe 23:30 AM with the space in between, 30, put the space and PM. This one is PM, enter. Is this a text or a date? Now I have a space. Is it a text or a date? Tricky question. How we know? Another thing, since you're on this topic, I want to check whether this particular data is a text or otherwise. You can use this function called isText. Now, Phoebe, you want to key equal is.
Where the equal? Put there.
Just equal is text.
Is.
Is. T-E-X-T. Yeah. Then you can press tab key, it will auto complete for you. Very good. And select the time above. Then press enter. It will return true or false. This is true. So it's a text. That means it's not a date. Or it's not a time. Yeah, so this is a way for you to verify. Sometimes our eyes may see a different thing, how Excel or computer will see the data differently. If let's say now maintain the formula, we just remove the PM. Just take out the PM. And press enter. And you can see the is text, it become false. That means this is a time. So sometimes the data you export, just be careful about all these things. The reason I want to keep the data here a bit simple, because we do not want to have all this drama. And thank you for Phoebe. We really need to thank Phoebe for sharing all these questions. And please, everyone, type thank you, Phoebe, in the chat, because without her, we will not know so much. Really. Thank you, Phoebe. I also want to thank Phoebe. I type all in cap, not because I'm screaming, just because I want to type it easier. Thank you, Phoebe. Yes, we learned something different here. And this is how, when you ask question, you are helping others as well. Really. So this is helping you and helping others. So now we jump back to our file here. So we have somehow we will know how many people they are late. We can apply the same thing, how many people they are early out. Let's do something like this. Early out, question mark. I just put something simple, early out, question mark. Press enter. Let me auto fit the column. Now early out, I want to know, is this the time comparing to the, this one? Should I say it's greater than or lesser than? Remember, the future is always greater. Future is always greater. Comparing to the time, can the person leave after this is okay or before this is okay? Which one is okay? After. So after means greater than or lesser than. Greater is future. Yes, it's future. So therefore, I want to do this equal the time out. The time out. Is this after? Oh, no, is it before? Before is lesser than. Then I can press F3. I press F3. I will see there's a permissible early out. Permissible early out. If the person leave before the permissible early out, that means it's early out. If the person leave, because permissible is 5:25. If let's say I leave at 5:20, it's early. So whenever it's early, it means lesser than. I can press enter. You can see this one or this guy early out some more. 5:22 p.m. Let's do a random investigation. After 5:30, still okay. 5:30, this one is still okay. This one before 5:25. So this is early out. So from here, we can tell how many early out do we have. We can just go to filter and take out the false and press OK. It's something like this. Take on the filter, take out the false and press OK. And you will know how many people they are out earlier. I can press OK. Yeah, this group of people, they are out earlier. If you are able to follow up to this step, please type number 6. If you are able to follow up to this step, please type number 6. If you need me to repeat certain part of it, you can let me know in the chat as well. Now I'm viewing the data. Wow, consistently late in early out. Champion, this guy. Wow, so you can see consistently every month. This guy, okay, once in a while, okay. So far, okay, I can thank you Yan Wan, thank you Ziyan, thank you Chan, thank you Jessica. How about the rest? We are on the move or okay, can the rest as well, okay? And just for information, the date and the time calculation, you may need a bit longer time to digest. After you got it, you will love it so much. And let me tell you a secret. Let me tell you a secret. Want to know a secret? Don't want to know? Never mind. Later I tell. Okay. The secret is date and the time calculation is a money-making topic. What does that mean? Their company, they are not sure, maybe the staff is not sure how to do this calculation. Sometimes because of it could be quite complex in their data. So they will ask other people to do those kind of calculation for them. So that means you may be able to earn some pocket money by helping others to do so. Really. It's a very true Kesa Bernard real story. If you want to know more, talk to me. Right? Come back to here. So now we have all these things. Let's go back to the rules. The question. We have know how many people late in, how many people early out. But just now the whole thing is just give us a long list. Now we put our thinking cap again. We think like a boss, think like our boss. Do we want to receive a report like this one? I just filter. Boss, you want to know how many people are in, right? Can. Done. Press Control P and print, and it will be how many pages? 3 pages. Boss, park, analyze sendiri. This is a list. If you are the boss, think like a boss. Will you like this kind of report? Yes or no? Will you like this kind of report? Yes or no? Some people will like it. You will be surprised. Some people they enjoy, tick all the numbers one by one. Will you like to receive this kind of report whenever you are the boss, you are the HR director or manager? Luckily, no one say yes here. Okay, thank you, Kobe. Thank you, Zian. Thank you, SY. No, we don't want to have something like this. So we want to summarize it. So in order to summarize, so it's very easy for us how we are able to do it a bit differently. So I'm going to introduce you something called PivotTable. How many of you has heard about PivotTable before? Something like this PivotTable. Yeah, where am I? The PivotTable. You may, if you have heard or you are using PivotTable at this present moment, can you type number 1? If you totally no idea about PivotTable, can you type 0? If you are somewhere like blur sotong, blur squid, blur what fish, you can type whatever numbers in between them. Okay. Sometimes I use this kind of behavior stuff just to make the session a bit fun. One -0, such thing called -0 one, man. The interesting number. Thank you for your participation. Seems that most of you know how to use PivotTable, and for the benefit of the rest, some of you I will share a little bit how to use pivot table. Then we will jump into the analysis based on this scenario. So now let's go back here. You just click inside here, make it simple. And we go to insert. Insert, there's something called pivot table. Insert pivot table. After you insert pivot table, it will prompt you where you want to create a pivot table, and you can notice the name appears here again. In terms of using pivot table, for those who have used pivot table before, if you are not using Excel table like this one, most likely when the data changes, you have new column, new rows, you may want to come here and change again. That's very common. People use pivot table. Another way to work around, you just need to create an Excel table for your data. And next time you update your pivot table with the new column, new rows, and so on, your pivot table will automatically include the new data. It's making your life much more easier. For those who have no idea about pivot table, you have not used it before, this is the way you want to use it. After you have make sure it's done, by default, you will create a new worksheet and you can press OK. Just press OK and you will see a brand new worksheet, something like this. For those who have no idea about pivot table, welcome to the world of pivot table. Okay. Pivot table, you will see something like pivot table fields. Normally, it will be on the side. Because of the demonstration, I put it in the middle here. If you click outside, the pivot table fields will disappear. If I click inside, the pivot table fields will appear. Do not panic. If you click outside, it will disappear. You just click inside, it will appear. Sometimes, because I have closed the pivot table fields like this, I close it. If I click outside, nothing happened. If I click inside, also nothing happened. And sometimes people panic just because of the thing disappear. They start scratching their head, pulling their hair out. That's why you can see I have no more hair. Then you can see, go back here, just right click on the pivot tables. You will see the last option. It is always the last option. It says show field list. Show field list. Yeah. After that, you can see the pivot table fields appears again. It's just that simple. Nice. So after that, let me have a quick run through what are there. So this one is all the data available from our sources. In the pivot table, we call this as fields. We don't call it as column. And why? Because it has the same thing called columns here. Later we will cover that. What does it mean? So meanwhile, for the fields, it means the data available for our analysis. For analysis. So these are the data available. So example, I have the staff name, the day, the timing, timeout. Maybe in your actual data, you may have a department, you have a different building, different shift, morning shift, night shift. You can do more analysis as well. So after that, inside here, on the left side, this will be the table, how the things will look like at the end, so that you can see how the report will appear. So let me differentiate with all the 4 quadrants here. We will be talking about a little bit about columns, rows, values, and we will not cover about filters. When time permits, we will cover a little bit. Just quickly run through, and on the top section here, on the top section, whatever field we add into the columns, it will be part of it will be appear on the top. And meanwhile, whatever things we want to be appears on the left side, we just place them inside rows. We just place them inside rows. If I say I want to see the staff name on the side, I will just place inside rows. Maybe I want to have a department or the shift appears on the column. I just add it towards the column. So it will appear on the top or on the left side. Whatever in the middle, these are always numbers. It means these are the summary. They are always in the number. So it will be going through something called aggregation. That means they want to summarize them. So the very popular one is called sum. It's something called average. Minimum, that means the lowest number. Maximum, or the highest number. Or they will be using count. That means how many number of rows. In this context, with number of days, this person has been late in or early out. So these are the things we could do. So this is a quick overview for those you are seeing the pivot table for the very first time in your life. You may want to put in your history, maybe 1 year in the future, Facebook will remind you, hey, you have something like this anniversary. Now, I want to analyze the data. I want to know how many late in. Boss want to know how many late in. I just need to drag the late in, the late in question mark, drag it towards value. Let's see what will happen now. Let's see what will happen now. Drop. It says 632. So that means this is a number of record. It doesn't tell you whether this particular person is early or whether this particular person is late or otherwise. It doesn't share that. So therefore, I want to move this late in. I want to add the late in towards the filters. Drag towards the filters. Let go. So you can choose the filters. I want to see those late in. By the way, some of you may be thinking, hey, well, how come I so stupid don't want to use something like this? I will explain a bit why we go through something like this. This is also part of the process, learning process and discovery process. Press OK. So 140 times people has late. Who are they? Later we will discover. So I just use a filter. Inside filter, I only want to see those are the late. And I also move the late in inside here. So I have the late in two places, one inside the filter and the ones I appears inside the values. So you can see something like this, 140 times staff has late. And who they are, I can scroll up. There's a staff name here, there's staff name here. You can just have a checkbox tick, just a tick. And you can see, hey, boss, since the beginning of the year up to the data we have, Alpha has late 13 times. Delta has late 120 times. Wow, record holder like this guy. Echo late 7 times. If you are the boss now, what else you want to know? Let me zoom in a little bit. What else you want to know? And the data we have is from January up to June. It's only half year. It's only half year data. What else you want to know? You can type in the chat. Now you think like a boss. What else you want to know? Very good. Thank you, Ismail. Accumulated hours. So now I have know the total number of times people has late. I have no idea how much time they have late. So I go back to the time log just now. Go to time log. And just before that, I just want to double check. We have resolved this thing for how many people late, how many people come in late or they leave earlier. So we have resolved these two. And there's one more question. I want to know the accumulate late hours. Late hours. So I want to go to the time log here. Go to time log. We know this person is late. Whenever it shows the values is true, and how many minutes the person has late, I have no idea. Some people, last time I have seen this, I have seen someone do something like this before. What they do, they calculate manually, 25 ma, 35 ma. So 35 minus 39 will be 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. 4 minutes, they were key in here. Late by 4 minutes. Okay, then what else? Okay, 35, 35, 30, 35, 35, 35, 36, 37, 38. Oh, this is 3 minutes. They were key one by one, something like this. So this is a bit too much, too drama. So now I want to share you, there's a one formula you are able to turn this whole thing and calculate the minute late in. Okay, minute late in. I just type it MIN, minute late in. Let's do this together. Let's do this together. Let's do this together. So I have a time in. Whenever it say is true, I want to calculate the difference. Equal. Whenever it's late in means this one will be greater than if tab. Click on the late in. Click on the late in, comma. Then I want to use the permissible. I want to use the time in here. Time in here minus permissible late in. So that means I want to use the timing like this one, 8:39 minus the 8:35. So you will get number of difference of minute difference, and comma, otherwise it will be 0 and close parenthesis. And close parenthesis. I can press enter. You will see numbers in this way. You will see numbers in this way. If you need me to support you, I can invite you to share your screen. I can see some, I have some feeling, some of you may be, wow, what is this? Okay, just type if equal IF and then select time in. After that, comma, select late in, select late in. After that, comma, select the time in minus permissible late in, comma, 0 and close parenthesis. And then you press enter, you will see something like the one on the screen. Do you see some decimal places? Yep. If let's say I select the entire column from G2, I want to select until the end. I'll press Control Shift down arrow key, Control Shift down arrow key. Just change the formatting to time. So ugly. Let me undo. So I just want to show the minutes. Okay, Ken. Because the times here, it will be in the time format. Okay. I just want to ask our boss. My boss Ismail, you want to show in the time format, or you want to show how many minutes like just now? 3 minutes, 4 minutes, all these things. How you want it to be? Waiting for boss response. Total minutes. Okay, very good. So I have something like this. I believe you are able to, okay, you want to be in this format like 3 minutes, 0:3 with 3 minutes in this way, or the number 3? Which one? A or B? Which one? Which one you prefer? So the method, what we have seen on the left side, it will give us in this way. When we go to the pivot table, we will see in this manner. B, very good, thank you. So Since this one will give us a 0 point something, so this is not what we want. So this one, we want to do something different. We want to multiply by 24 because one day has 24 hours and multiply by 60. 1 hour has 60 minutes. You just need to multiply towards the end after the close parenthesis, multiply by 24 and multiply by 60. Just add these two at the back. Some people say, why not just multiply this thing? I have forgotten what's number. I just remember this thing now. If you want to know the total numbers, I can do this by select them and press F9. It's 1440. Multiply by 1440. After you press enter, it becomes 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute. Nice. So now I have this thing ready. Boss Ismail, okay? Can? So this is what you want. So now I have this thing ready. I go back to my pivot table in the sheet 1. Before we continue, I just want to give the sheet 1 a meaningful name. And this is my personal preference. You can choose to use it or you can choose to use other methods. I will have a prefix for my pivot table in terms of the worksheet name. I'll start with PV, pivot law. Then this is about something laid in, like this one. So this is about laid in reports. So I will just change the name, PV laid in. So this pivot about laid in. And now I want to calculate the total number of minutes. So I just scroll down. Do you see there's something minute laid in? Do you see something like this? Don't have all. That's because pivot table has something called cache. Cache means it will make a copy of the data we have. It will just make a copy and keep it inside. Whenever the data is updated, it will not automatically update so that it is able to produce the report faster. And otherwise, if normal formula, any changes on the Excel file, it will be recalculating. Sometimes it can slow down the whole report. So now I have updated the data. I want to trigger the pivot table to update the cache. So I want to refresh it. Refresh. The easiest way to refresh is to go to pivot table, right click any of the pivot table parts. Just right click, you will see there's one option says refresh. Just right click, refresh. Anytime you have changed some data, you need to refresh a pivot table cache. Right click, refresh. So now I can see minute laid in. So I do not need the count. I want to know the total. So I want to remove this. To remove, just drag this thing out. Just move it out. So it'll be gone. So let me show you. Drag to move it out. It will disappear. So I want to move the minute laid in, drag towards values. So you can see, wow, Delta's champion, 317 minutes laid in consistently. Sweat this guy. So you can apply the same thing for the early out. When you want to combine these two together, how many minutes this person in total, early in, late in, and early out. When you combine, this one will give you a view what is happening on the ground. And you can also further break down the analysis by every month, every quarter, or you can go by individual department whenever you have data to do so. So this is the whole process, and you are able to, just a quick one, just quick recap. We have know how to find the late in, early lever. Just now we learned about the name. We go inside here, our time log, we convert into Excel table. We created this greater than or lesser than for the comparison, either before or after. The time towards the future is always greater number. The time in the past will be in the lesser number. And just now we calculate number of minutes the person has lived has come in late. So when this whole thing combined, we can address the third question. So this is a general overview, a quick overview, what you could do with the analysis of the attendance data. So now I wanted to invite you to share what is your biggest learning up to just now. What is your biggest learning up to just now? You can type in the chat or you can use your voice, whichever comfortable to you.